Hello, Taurus. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This is your May 2025 reading. Welcome. This is going to help you navigate the next 4 or 5 weeks, and I like to kick everything off with channeled messages. Basically, before every reading, I meditate, and what came through for you was first, kind of being stretched a little bit thin when it comes to your time or your resources, and then quickly I watched as you were juggling more than enough. So the initial message is don't go into a place of panic or fear or anxiety if you are feeling pressed for time or energy, or you're worried about the budget. Obviously, you'll make some good decisions in the interim, but what I see right on the horizon, ostensibly because you're making better decisions right now, is more coming in. So first things first, it's really important to be discerning and picky with your time. If something doesn't return energetically, focus on something that does. Make sure that you're getting what you're giving in time, in energy, and in money. And also, if you are starting to go into the uptick where there's more than one thing, you don't have to do it all alone. So like the Three of Pentacles, which is what's coming into my mind's eye as we're speaking, is about teamwork. And there's been a common theme this month about that sort of energy of teamwork. But for you, I'm actually getting more of a leadership vibe than the previous sign. So it's more about discernment and delegation. So being picky and then not holding on to the little stuff that doesn't matter. That's what kind of gets you into the Two of Pentacles. It's overextending. So you can let go of things that don't matter. You can delegate things that do to people that you trust. And then you can take that last piece and really focus on where you can make the biggest splash. I think it's time now to take a look at the cards. Before I do that, I know all of you love to see Apollo. He's resting in the background, listening, holding some space while we're getting started. So let's do just that. All right, take a moment, if you will, and clear your mind. If there's anything that you're holding on to, any sort of preconceptions, fears, doubts, or anxieties, just let them go in this moment in time. And imagine that you're tracing a circle of light around your body. And within that circle, let's invite in angels, spirit guides, ascended masters, and take a deep breath and just set the intention to receive whatever needs to come through. Thanks for that. It's a really powerful spread so far, especially as we take a look here at the World card, which is your significator. It really shows that there is a lot coming through this month with respect to opportunities. And look at how this person is holding on to two things. Very interesting. Changes, leadership, a lot of good stuff. I'm getting way ahead of myself. Let me go ahead and pull the catalyst and then we'll get into the reading. I'm going to save the expanded forecast for a little bit later. This is such a powerful image and so beautifully connected to what we talked about earlier. So the catalyst helps us make a necessary change. The message is about depletion. And for many of you, this could represent a person in your life where you spend time and it's kind of like they take all of the energy out of the room and you're exhausted. It could be a job where you're putting a lot of time, but you're not getting enough back. It could also just be an activity where maybe a year ago when you were doing it, you felt like this was worth it. It was fulfilling, but now it's just not returning. Take care of yourself and love yourself enough to unplug from that sort of depleting energy. This is also a call to action with respect to health. So getting ample sleep is one thing, but fatigue can also come from inadequate exercise, a diet that's lacking the nourishment and the nutrients that you need, too much caffeine, any sort of vice or addiction that might also be depleting your energy. It's taking more than it's giving. And this month, you deserve more, and that's the first message. You can also create some support systems in your life. We talked about exercise, a therapist or a friend or a confidant that you can talk to, getting that support so that you're not feeling stretched like I was talking about. And it's so wonderfully connected. This is a really, like I said, it was a powerful spread. I had to stop editorializing because I was getting excited about it. But at the center, this depletion energy is absolutely connected to Five of Pentacles. Someone isn't showing up the way that you need them. But you have the potential to go to the next level and create balance. we see boss energy and change energy and expansion. It's just a matter of choices, and you do have the Six of Pentacles in the outcome. So you're going to get there. I'm going to help you. Let's start with your center card. Love yourself enough to say no. Self-worth equals net worth, and the Five of Pentacles represents a minor bit of self-doubt, often because something didn't go the way we thought or we wanted. We can see this person protecting themselves a little bit. She's holding back, she's holding in. And there's so much to give, and there's so much that really wants to come through. Let me pull the traditional card here, and we're going to talk about what you can do to recalibrate and shift this into your outcome card, which is the Six of Pentacles. So as promised, here's the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card. We see two people that are just incapable of being there for one another. One person might be suffering from an injury or some sort of a setback. The other person is too lost in their own world. This can literally be people that are dealing with challenges, but it can also just be a parent, a teacher, a guardian that at some point in your life lacked the tools or the context to understand what you needed, and also even just to see your potential. And as a result, it makes you feel like you're out in the cold, like we can take it at the face value here. So know this, that was the past. It does not represent present energy. In fact, what we see here coming through at the end of the spread is balance. You're going to get what you need this month, but we have to work at releasing this one moment in time where you weren't feeling like you were enough. And as I'm talking, sorry, I had to push pause for a second. It's like someone put a sharp object in my stomach. And for me, that's a power struggle. And if I really focus on, it's just a little bit to the side of the umbilical cord. So I don't think it's that. I think this is just a general power struggle. But here's what I'm being shown. The reason that there was and it may not be everyone, but I'm picking it up really strong, so I want to share it. The reason that there was an argument or a disagreement was it was just because you did something that they didn't want. So they might have gotten in, and it's almost like gaslighting when someone comes in and makes you feel like you did something wrong when you know you didn't, or that you don't have the capacity to do something. We want to erase that because it is not valid. You are fine, and you made the right choice. And as tough as it may be to not get the support of someone that you respected, it really shows more about them. Now, for everybody else, what we're just seeing in this moment could be reclaiming power and realizing that it's okay to do something that isn't understood or isn't popular if it aligns to your goal or your vision. This is a moment to really sit in your power, really kind of focus on, my energy changed as I sat up, but just believing in yourself, standing tall, no apologies. It's your life. It's your choice, okay? Crossing this, we have peer pressure. So for some of you, it could be family. The Ten of Cups can be the closest friends and family members. So if you just have family that loves you to the point of exhaustion or sometimes suffocation, create space so that you can breathe. Okay, for everyone else, I actually feel like there could be love or friendship on the horizon. And look at that beautiful rainbow that's going over the top of this. If you've had a challenging period where there's been not a lot of friends, not a lot of money, not a lot of opportunity, things are changing. And what I like here too is that energy of leadership. So we have the school of fish, and then we have that couple there kind of leading things off. So you have a chance here to step into the spotlight. It feels like there's a lot of support, a lot of energy around you, if you're willing and if you're ready to do that. And the reason that I say that is we have a boss card up here, the Queen of Wands. So for those of you that have an entrepreneurial spirit or an idea or want to go for something, yes, I see support. For everyone else, this is a chance to get out there and mix and mingle a little bit. You may feel this sense of, the word that comes through is inadequacy or discomfort, but no one else is seeing it. So don't put too much emphasis on that. Just allow yourself to mix, to mingle, and to be seen. I feel like you can make some really great connections right now strategically, and also some great friends or love. If you're looking for love interests want to come through as well. In the deep past, we have the Page of Wands reversed. You have two court cards in the suit of Wands, both reversed, and what's happening here is overthinking. All of this is going on. What about this? Maybe this. So I want you to think in a way that is not kind of like limiting and not worrisome. Instead, think about possibilities, things that ignite the spark of inspiration and curiosity. One of your best traits is your introspective energy. You look deeper than most. You may be overly critical when it comes to yourself and also your own choices in the past. We can only expect ourselves to do the best that we can given the information and the experience that we have in any given moment. When we don't, as long as we're learning from that and choose to do better in the future, it's still all right. So I'm coming through almost like a counselor today to say, don't be so hard on yourself. That's the big takeaway here. And look at it from a different perspective. Look at what you do bring to the equation. You have a lot of insight. The fact that we have 2 cards in the suit of wands, both court cards, they're showing, ideas, the ability to be inventive, to think your way through a problem. So allow yourself to go into the what if, why not energy instead of into overly critical things that kind of box you in. All right, I love what we see here just to the side. We have the Ace of Pentacles coming through in the recent past. This is where the focus should be. So for some of you, you may have already started to put your time and energy into something. The Ace of Pentacles can represent like a seed or an intention that you're putting out into the universe. And each and every day you put a little bit more energy into it. It's like learning how to speak a new language or learning how to dance or whatever. You do it one step at a time, literally. Please keep continuing the steps and the practice. Practice makes perfect. Don't expect perfection on the first try. It's going to come here because we see that sort of deep energy here, the roots. You're planting the roots right now, or you're forming the roots. And it takes a while for everything to kind of surface. So be patient with yourself. There may have been someone that reached out to you and said, hey, are you ready? In order to get ready, this is why all of the sort of warnings and messages around depletion came through and not working yourself to the point of exhaustion. By the way, that's what the 5 of Pentacles can represent. Burnout, and what happens sometimes with the burnout energy is you get sick. So in this moment in time, I really want you to prioritize health and happiness. And whatever you're putting your attention into and your intention into, it should be something where it feeds you as well, okay? This is a time to really get a firm handle on your money and your time and to schedule accordingly. And we have boss energy in the crowning position here with the Queen of Wands. Let's take a moment to acknowledge that the card is reversed. A reverse Queen of Wands reminds us that sometimes we just have to hold our ground. She's stubborn, she's strong, and she's outspoken. So there may be a challenge this month, and because this card came through, it's saying, you've got what it takes. Now, she could benefit from keeping an open mind, because in the upright position, this is about inspiration, being inventive, being intuitive, and being open. So we want to access that part of the Queen, and then only when necessary, put your foot down or be stubborn. But take the blinders off and be open to receiving constructive criticism and insight from different people, because it may save you time in the long run. So that would be the way that I would merge this together so you get the best of both worlds. Instinct, intuition, imagination, and then when necessary, boss energy, okay? I think that's pretty much everything here. The only other thing is kind of like a question that's being posited by the universe, which is, are you leading or following? Because the sunflower in this particular illustration is heliotropic. It represents something that follows the light. You have the ability to be the light, like the sun or the Queen of Wands or the star. So let your light shine and let other people come to you. Trust in your power. This month, one of the big opportunities for you is not so much to seek, but allow others to discover what you have potential-wise. All right, now let's move on to the near future. We have the Chariot in reverse. So it's really interesting that they chose a snail to represent progress on the Chariot. Snails are slow and steady, and we see a snail on the 9 of Pentacles, which represents abundance, and it's saying it's not about how quickly. It's not about how quickly you're achieving a goal. It's not about who gets there first. It's really about making sure that you absorb and are present in an opportunity as best you can be, and also that you're doing something right the first time, or you're getting there without having to go back and kind of like fix all of these things because there were unnecessary shortcuts. Slow, steady, and present. That's what gets you to a point of success and fulfillment. And when we are in our life review at the end of our days, it is not about how quickly you do something. So you're actually being encouraged to slow down here just a little bit and really get strategic about the next move or two. Think about it as a chessboard, and you really are thinking about 4 or 5 moves ahead. Now, there could be someone that's also tugging at your decision making and coming in legitimately and just saying, "Are you sure?" It's not always a bad thing to have a friend or a checkpoint, even a gatekeeper, come in and say, "Did you do this? Are we good here?" Sometimes it's just to make sure that you are okay. And when you've given it thought and everything's ready, it's easy. You can say, "Yeah, I did everything I need to. Let me know if you see something, but otherwise I'm ready to go." So it could just be a gut check. That's sometimes all it is. We did mention that one of the failings of the Queen of Wands reverse could be open-mindedness. So be open-minded to somebody coming through and just making sure that everything is the quality that it needs to be. All right, let's get into the card that signifies you this month, the World. I was so excited when I was pulling the spread because this is about as good as it gets in the major arcana, in the whole deck actually. It represents a completion, expansion, movement in the best possible form. The World is good. That's why I wasn't worried about the 5 of Pentacles. That's why I'm not worried about some of the cards that might show that you need to take a sidestep, you need to slow down, whatever. It's all going to be okay in the long run because it's almost like a foundation that you're building very strong and firm and steady so that this can land. You may find yourself in this moment in time thinking, "I'm ready for a big move." Unlike the Tower, this one is one that you get to steer, and that is why we have these cards that are maybe just introspective. They're looking within, and all of the sort of power cards here are reversed. So some of you are just kind of going within and thinking, what do I want? How do I want to do this? It could be beneficial. This comes through often when you want to make a physical move from one place to another, when you're making a big career expansion moment. So you could be promoted, you could be changing industries, you could be getting into or out of a marriage, there could be a birth, or you could be launching something. It's also like broadcasting, podcasting, and dissemination. Good stuff, big energy coming forth. And that's why I've been so insistent upon taking your time and really thinking it through. The sky is the limit this month, and I want you to really start to see the possibilities, okay? That's probably the title for you. It is about like going beyond these self-created limits or, you know, kind of the blinders that we were talking about here. The sky is the limit. Here's one of the few challenges that came forth, and it's in the environment, and it could be a person. 5 of Swords is someone that actually could just be gaslighting you and saying something to make you doubt yourself. Because typically, and you can see there's like a deceptive energy in the 5 of Swords. It can be a person that just enjoys getting a rise out of you or is a little bit jealous and wants you to feel bad about something good that's going on in your life. Let it go. Don't even give them the benefit of knowing that it got under your skin. Take a deep breath. They're not worth the investment of time and energy. This can also be the inner saboteur. So if you're fortunate enough not to have that kind of shadow energy in your life, it could just be a previous way of thinking. These 2 5s kind of work together. This is self-confidence or a lack thereof. And what it sometimes does is invites in a shadow of doubt. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I can't do this. It's only a shadow. They did a great job illustrating this. Unlike the original one where you kind of see the person in the foreground they're having fun, we really just see the shadow here, and there's nothing to fear. The shadow is just kind of coming through, again, to kind of check you, to make sure that you're strong enough for the next level. When you expand and get into the spotlight, there's often more scrutiny. You're going to bring out the best, but also the most challenging personalities as well. So this is helping you get a thicker skin so that it won't get it won't be something that you even give a second thought as you start to go on in your journey. Be mindful of people around you when it comes to important conversations. Five of Swords, I wouldn't spend much time talking to them, but I also wouldn't put any sort of important information in their hands. It's just not very trustworthy, okay? Let's move on here. Hopes, fears, and opportunities. We have an ability in this moment to break through any stagnation in your life, because death reverse can represent stagnation. This is also rebirth. So we see the skeletal energy there, but right to the side there's a lily, which is rebirth, and there's also metamorphosis in the form of the butterfly. Lean into change. This is not a period in time in which you are going to benefit from, nor should you be pursuing a rinse and repeat approach. What used to work won't anymore, and only through innovation, only through exploring new things and shedding your skin and kind of getting through that chrysalis like we saw with the butterfly, are you going to be able to grow and explore that sort of limitless energy that we were talking about. The lily is a really great symbol, though. You have the ability right now to, Judgment card has this, so does Death, but it's reinvent yourself. So just because, like for instance, in a career path, when you were a teenager or something, you decided to commit to one path. You don't have to do that forever. Just because you used to like someone doesn't mean you're going to like them forever. Just because you used to believe one way doesn't mean that you're always going to hold that set of beliefs. The wonderful thing about this experience on the planet is we are constantly changing, learning, and expanding. So it's okay to change your path, change your mind, or change your direction. Now we have the key to success here in the outcome. It's about balance. I kind of love how they've chosen to spill the tea in this card. So one thing that you want to think of right now is being mindful. This is connecting with this card. Spilling the tea in modern days is about gossiping. So don't say everything. Don't give it all away. Be careful. Be kind of like weigh out your words. That's one thing. The traditional energy in this one, though, is more about smart choices. A series of good choices can ensure that you have more than enough and can help you level up to new opportunities. It's work-life balance. It's making sure that you're giving yourself a little bit of contingency for a rainy day. You're not overextending yourself. And we started the month with Five of Pentacles energy at the center, me even seeing like Two of Pentacles in my mind's eye. So this is about making sure that as you move forward, you're willing and ready to say no when necessary. You're not going to put yourself second, because the energy in this one is give and take, and it should be evenly balanced. And then also back to the beginning where I mentioned discernment. Not only is it okay, but I would say it's essential to know when to say no and when to say when. And just to bring it all full circle, if we look at the traditional illustration here, you can see that the person is making sure that they're avoiding depletion. They have to save a little bit for themselves. And even though there's always open hands everywhere, you can't help everyone all at once. You have to pick and choose. And in those choices come the ability to grow, to expand, and to get to the next level. Okay, we're going to expand this, speaking of that, to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. And I'm going to give the cards a shuffle right now, and then we'll break down each one of those categories. All right, so let me just get everything organized, and let's begin. All right, so we'll pull a card for health. Wealth. Love. And destiny. All right, let's get started with the energy for your health. We have insight. This can represent a second opinion. So for some of you, if you're not happy with your doctor, or if you're feeling like you're not being listened to, it's great to do your own research. It's great to get second and maybe even third opinions. Just get a little bit more information and make sure that you feel informed, you feel heard and seen, and then from that, great things can come. Whenever I'm even just looking at the word sight, it might also be important to take a look at your glasses or your eye doctor, or just look a little bit deeper and make sure that you're not missing something in the hustle and bustle. All right, specifically looking at all of these cards from the perspective of health. The death card comes through as a wake-up call. A lot of times when there's a health reading and this appears, people freak out. It really depends where it's at. Hopes, fears, and opportunities. Some of us are just afraid of going down the same path maybe that a family member did. Learn from their mistakes and choose better, choose differently. Making sure that you're getting ample sleep, good exercise, all the things we talked about at the beginning. The Five of Pentacles, especially if we look at the traditional card, has to do with making sure that you're focusing on circulation. So for those of you that sit all day, make sure that you're stretching at least once an hour. If you have any sort of existing injuries in the foot, ankle, or leg, make sure that that's being dealt with as well. And if you're working too hard, you're putting yourself at risk to get a cold. It's one of the least sort of worrisome cards when we're looking at minor arcana, but who wants to be sick right now? You don't have the time and energy because of all of these changes and opportunities. One of the big challenges right now could also just be social engagements. And for some of you, in order to say yes to some of these, you have to take care of yourself. So I think you want to be well so that you can enjoy the expansion opportunities, perhaps the new love interests that are coming through, and to be able to juggle all of this stuff. You could have a headache because I'm looking at all of this sort of leadership energy. There's a lot of pressure, so migraines or headaches. I also was picking up on something perhaps in the digestive tract because it felt like it was just to like the right of my stomach. So make sure that you're eating well, and if you need to go to a doctor to get that checked out, do that. Otherwise, just creating good balance in your life right now is the key thing that I'm seeing. Okay. Let's move onward. Oh, one last thing before we move on. It may be time to legitimately and literally move from one place to the next. So if you're feeling like you can't grow, like at work, or if you are in a relationship where it's not going somewhere, or it's just a toxic environment, this could be a great time to explore new horizons. All right, let's move on from health to wealth. So we have a card here that was reversed, but let's just pull it in the upright position. Higher heart activation. Dropping shields, divine love, your heart is healed. So in order to be able to appeal, connect, and even sort of like have an impact on people in your career, in your life, you have to have a certain level of relatability, vulnerability, and connect basically on a heart level. So doing that inner healing work that we talked about at the beginning is going to be important. Yes, boundaries are needed, but if the shield is too high, nobody knows what's behind the shield. So learning that it's okay to open up and to share as long as you've done the inner healing work. All right, we're going to break this down into 5 subcategories, beginning with those of you that have a traditional job. I'm just going to put this to the side so it's easier to see. So for some of you, again, with the catalyst, depletion is coming through. You're feeling a little exhausted. It could be simply because you're not getting enough. You're worth more. This could be at least 10% more. So for some of you, you're doing the work of a couple of people but not getting the pay. This is time to have a conversation with leadership and hold your ground. So that tug of war that I felt, you may have to really stand your ground, have a lot of data points, show them why. And then also, you don't necessarily have to do this all on your own. Many of you have done the work to create a really great sort of reputation, and maybe even word of mouth can help you out here. You may also just be at a place where there's a glass ceiling. There's only so far you can go because it might be a little top heavy. Too many people competing for the same position, or too many managers and not enough people doing the work. In this case, it's time to move on, but it looks like you get to steer the ship. We're not seeing like a tower moment here. The only thing that is a little bit interesting here is the writing may also be on the wall. So given all the things that are going on in the world right now, you may realize there are certain industries, certain job titles where there might be a shelf life to it. So you want to get proactive in this situation. The card didn't come through in the spread, but I saw it in the channeled messages. Three of Pentacles would be the next thing that you want to focus on. I don't have this handy, but basically that's education, teamwork. It's usually higher education and training. So I think it's a really good time to continue with your skills development, and you'll be happy that you did that in the long run. Okay. Otherwise, it looks pretty good. It looks manageable, just either stagnation or something that might be coming to a close, but it feels like there's a little bit of a heads up and it's not really surprising. Do the research now and see what else is out there, okay? And try to save your time and energy. You don't want to work yourself to exhaustion. The best part and the thing that might be keeping a lot of you there is the team energy. I get it. I've worked at places where I don't love the company, but I love the team. Entrepreneurs. It's time to hire if you can afford to. Many of you are looking at the budget, but interestingly enough, when you are able to bring in a little bit more assistance, it opens you up and you might be more productive. There also might be something that just needs to be stopped. Like if it's not producing if you have a product and it's not producing enough revenue, it's time to discontinue that or consider making things like a limited run and focus instead on other things. I'm heartened by the fact that Six of Pentacles is in the outcome, but it requires very strategic, very intelligent choices in this moment in time. There's someone around you that I would just encourage you to be a little bit more picky or discerning with. If it's a client or if it's a contract that you're looking at, there's something in the fine print that I don't like. If there's a customer that's complaining, deal with that, but don't put too much time and energy into it. Just state your policy, give them what they need, move on. Ultimately, though, we need to make sure that there's not this sense of working to the point of exhaustion or not having enough to cover the bills. So you may decide to also move so that you can save money, move production somewhere else, or maybe there's a new partner that comes in to help. So something with respect to the money, the price points, and how far you're extending yourself. I do think you can find that sweet spot, but it's going to require some changes and possibly ending a product or ending a certain type of service so that you're able to do better in the other categories. If you're job seeking, many of you are frustrated because of the dead end that I'm seeing here. There also might just be someone that you're corresponding with where, again, they're lacking follow through. Think bigger. This is sometimes literally looking at a different part of the globe and saying, all right, I'll try that city, I'll try that state, that province, that country. I need to go wider. It could also be a matter of looking in a different industry and saying, I think I need to repackage and completely rethink about what I'm doing because I think I'm done with this. You can be done with what you did before and try something new. I've had that happen multiple times in my life, and every time I've allowed myself to explore something new, it's been beneficial. You just need to make sure that you've done the research first, okay? The way that you can get the next job could be through the Ten of Cups. Friends and family, it's usually the closest people, not so much old coworkers. It's people that you're just friends with. Make sure that you're talking to them about that. I do see what could be either considered a step down or a lateral move. Make sure that that's okay with you. It may take a little bit longer. There's definitely a lot of competition right now. I'm just getting the leaning into change. So changing geographical location, pivoting in a different industry, or changing up the approach when it comes to what you envision yourself doing. All right, let's move on to students. You may be changing a major. You might be transferring schools. You might be also looking at, just sort of changing up the routine a little bit. Change is very important when it comes to your education. And the other thing here is the depletion piece is coming through loud and clear. More time for friends, family, and loved ones because we need the work-life balance. It looks like you're tracking okay when it comes to everything else. So self-care is at the center of this spread. But we're almost at the end of a semester right now. For some of you, there could either be an internship that you're going to do this summer to figure out if you still want to do what you're doing. And then some of you are going to do some changes to your program. It's good to explore that. You're not stuck unless you want to be stuck. So kind of explore the options, talk to someone else, and then maybe next semester make that change or shift. Retirees. This is interesting here because I feel like some of you are getting pushback from friends or family that may not agree with what you're doing. There could also just be mortality coming through. This hits not just when you're retired. Big birthdays make you feel this way when you're at the quarter celebrations, whether it's like 25, 50, 75. Those birthdays mean a lot. The act of retirement, the act of getting married, seeing someone that you love have like grandchildren or something, all these things awaken you to the fact that time marches on, right? And so make the most of it. Here's what's cool. We see something new coming in. You may be deciding to start a business, start a new class, do something that you love. One thing that also comes through loud and clear is either a move, relocation, or travel, and also maybe just seeking people that are more worldly, more open-minded than where you might be. So I think it's a great time for those self-development energies that are present in Ace of Pentacles and World. Start something new and explore the possibilities, okay? Now let's move on to love and relationships. I absolutely love the message on this. You never know what you're going to get in the oracle cards, but this is great. Peace and harmony. Archangel Raguel coming through saying, thanks for surrounding me, my life rather, in a harmonious light. It's also an encouragement for you to find a place of peace and harmony. You may have to be the voice of reason. Sometimes the best move is to move on because we got the death card. So let's break it down into 3 categories and see how it's shaping up. No matter how much you love someone, from time to time, we all feel that sense of exhaustion. Relationships are work, but they shouldn't be so much work that you feel depleted. Let's look at the kind of what's going on in the relationship. I do feel like there's still a lot of love, but one partner might be dealing with either a health challenge, maybe some financial issues, or just a little bit of the inner child that needs to be healed. You as a partner may have a tendency to come in and want to swoop in and fix everything, but what your partner really just needs is someone that's there, side by side, holding their hand, giving them some support, maybe pointing them towards the resource that they need. But Queen of Wands can be a little bit too bossy or a little too maternal. So my advice here is it's not necessarily your mess to clean up. The partner needs to want to do the work. And if they're stuck or if you're stuck, that's where it might be helpful to get someone else that has an objective point of view that's more balanced. So if you're interested in therapy and you're going through something, I'm getting a very strong read on that. For everyone else, there could also just be a significant life change. I talked about retirement, but same thing with marriage or birth or death. Literally, if something's changing radically in your life, it can throw the relationship into a bit of like a question mark. So again, I think that the most powerful card in this entire spread is this: unconditional love and support. And if you can be there through the thickest and most challenging and most gnarly moments, you can be there in the best of times as well. So stay balanced, try to help them out, but also give them space to figure things out on their own, because you don't want to step into the parental role. That's the main takeaway there. You may also be moving up. There could be a major change. Death can also be birth or reinvention. So there's some big shifts happening right now. Try to just take a deep breath and take it one step at a time. If you're single and looking, karmic energy is coming through. There could be a Scorpio coming through. The thing that's kind of interesting about what I see in the environment, if there's someone that you just met, be mindful that there might be more than meets the eye. I do see a lovely fire sign that comes forth. She's a little bossy, but she is great. So it depends what you're looking for. I'm actually hearing and seeing like Sagittarius energy in my head. So there could be a Sagittarius that wants to come through. The interesting thing when I'm looking at the karma is parental energy. And I know it isn't meant to be sexy because it's not. So that's why I even warned existing partnerships that might be dealing with that karmic energy. You're not the parent, you're not the child. You guys are on an even kilter and you want to be there on the level as much as possible. This is going to help you avoid conflicts. So if you're single and looking, be discerning. Give it a moment or two. I think you could find someone who's interested in this long haul. It's coming through more as the Queen of Wands or maybe a Scorpio, but there could also just be someone in your life that's dealing with some stuff and they're not fully disclosing it. So be mindful of that. I also think there could be some arguments that could stem from the Queen of Wands and the Chariot because they're both very strong energies, and at the end of the day can be a little bit fatiguing if you constantly have to like argue or hammer out everything. All right, single and happy. First of all, congrats. Good for you. In this moment in time, you can make big sweeping changes, expansive changes in the best possible way. And your biggest opportunity is reclamation of power and confidence building. I think it's important to take a look at all of your responsibilities right now and decide, does this help me or does this deplete me? If it depletes you, it's time to let it go. If it helps you, it's time to invest more. Okay? Briefly, let's take a look at destiny here. It says Mystic Meadow Sanctuary. When was the last time you took a vacation? You took some time just for yourself. This is an encouragement to take a step back, relax, and even if you can't do that, just to create some space in your day. It can be 5 or 10 minutes at the beginning of the day or 5 or 10 at the end. Create something that feels sacred. You'll be happy that you did it, and this is going to go a long way towards overcoming that depletion card that we saw earlier. 2 additional things that we're going to look at. One is new this month. I'm stepping out of the way, and so are you, and it's guides in the universe coming through and saying, hey, here's what you need to know. This month, 8 of Cups is coming forth. So what you need to know in this moment is, before making a major decision, feel free to take a step back. Time and distance provide the best context often. Also, if you need to step out of something, quitting a job or something of that nature, the Death card combined with this means that there's an open door. That can be good if you want the door to be open. If you're absolutely certain that you're done with something, you may need to come back and clarify one last time. No, I'm really done. I'm getting someone that's checking in because they really don't want to let you go. I feel like someone's holding on. This is also a card connected with making and breaking cycles. So if you want to start something new this month, it has a good chance of sticking. If you want to let something go, you can probably let it go for good. So wonderful energy this month. And I knew that because, again, with the expansive energy here, it's something about starting or stopping. Big movements this month. All right. I'm sure you have something that you want to know. So ask your question and let's see what the Spirit has to say. So if it's a yes, no, it's a yes. However, don't overdo it. This is beautifully connected to your outcome. So we've achieved balance in the 6 of Pentacles, and the tests come through in the 7 of Pentacles to, again, not overdo it, not overextend. Healing and growth take time, but boy, oh boy, it's worth it. Look at all of the lush abundance on this card. So continue to put your time and energy, be diligent, and don't rush, as we were talking about a little bit earlier with the Chariot. All right, folks, that brings this reading to a close. If you enjoyed this, do me a favor, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Let me know what resonated the most. I read everything that you write, and I appreciate your support. You can also follow me across social media. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all the major platforms. On Blue Sky, it's nicholasashbaugh.com. That's also my website, nicholasashbaugh.com, so you can go there for more news or official links. And thank you for everybody that wants to go a little bit extra above and beyond and do a super sticker, a super like, or become a member. Everything that I do here wouldn't be possible without those of you that just show up and watch the videos, but especially those of you that go a little bit above and beyond. Every little bit helps, so thank you from the bottom of my heart. And that's everything. I wish you all the best now and in the month ahead, and I'll make sure to start with the regular sort of order next month so you get your video a little bit sooner. Take care of yourself, have a great one, and I'll see you soon.